Chavs and the Underclass by Ieuan Crowe, a short film looking at Chavs and the underclass. The majority of society plays Chavs in the underclass, but how can Chavs, a group in society who wear expensive brands of clothes, be linked in with the social underclass who have next to no money at all? The word chav first came about in 1998, and nowadays there are many definitions of the word chav. It now even has a place in the Oxford and Collins English dictionaries. There are so many various definitions of chavs, because people's ideas of what a chav is often differs depending on their background and experiences. One of the most well-known definitions of the word chav is council housed and violent. This is interesting as the definition itself suggests that all people who live in council houses are chavs. This definition is thought to have originated from the Romany community as an alternative word for a troublesome child, not too far from the definition it has today. Chavs are normally seen as those who cause trouble in society, pose a threat to the cohesion within subcultures, and they are seen as those who break the law and do not share the same set of norms and values as the rest of society. But why does this lead to them being pigeonholed with the underclass? Yes, the underclass might be suffering in poverty at the bottom of the economic structure, but this does not mean that we should stereotype them to break the law. Robert Young did interviews in 20 schools in Glasgow and found that chavs are often respected by the young people because they are risk takers, thrill seekers or rule breakers, and this sort of cool, transgressive behaviour may contribute to the appeal of joining chav groups, and it could explain why so many children nowadays are becoming known as chavs. The idea of the underclass came about in 1989 when Charles Murray famously labelled those at the very bottom of the class structure as the underclass. He labelled them as scroungers and went on to say that these people were in poverty because they were more than happy to live off the benefits given to them by the welfare state, and they were too lazy to work and try and achieve social mobility. Chavs make themselves enemies of society by taking up transgressive acts such as spitting, swearing, hanging on street corners, being aggressive, drug taking and antisocial behaviour, just to name a few. It's these negative traits that I think separates chavs from the underclass. The underclass is the segment of the population that occupies the lowest possible position in the class hierarchy, below the core body of the working class. The specific term underclass was first used by Gunnar Myrdal, an American sociologist studying economic inequalities in the early 1960s. The underclass concept has been a point of controversy among social scientists. Definitions and explanations of the underclass, as well as proposed solutions for managing or fixing the underclass problem, have been highly debated. The appropriateness of using the underclass term has also been questioned, with some social scientists claiming that the concept has been transformed into a code word for intellectuals to demonise the lower class. Mead argues that the main cause of the underclass problem is welfare. He says that most welfare programs encourage social dysfunctions, including welfare dependency, illegitimate births, and high levels of unemployment. For Mead, welfare is too permissive and provides benefits to the underclass without requirements for its members to change their behaviour and lifestyle. Mead believes that permissive welfare is a primary cause of the underclass problem, as it gives out benefits without the requirement to work. So members of the underclass choose not to work and to live off the benefits given to them from the welfare state. Mead suggests that in order to get rid of the underclass, we must introduce a welfare state that requires the recipients to work in order to receive aid. Wright defines the underclass as a category of social agents who are economically oppressed but not consistently exploited within a given class system. Wright says that the underclass are oppressed because they are generally denied access to the labour market. Therefore, they are not consistently exploited, but the opportunity for their economic exploitation is minimal. In other words, unlike the working class, which is routinely exploited for their labour power, the underclass do not hold the labour power worthy of exploitation, thus putting them below the working class. Following the popularisation of the underclass concept in both academic and journalistic writings, some academics began to criticise the underclass terminology. Those in opposition to the underclass concept generally argue that the term is derogatory and demonises the urban poor.
Let's go on the urban safari, we might see some illegal migrants.